Welcome to Before AGI Weekly. This is your essential AI news digest.
Yeah, forget scrolling through endless feeds.
Exactly. We do the deep dive for you, pulling out the key stuff from, well, another whirlwind week in AI. Our mission today, really give you a clear, hopefully engaging picture of what's happening right now.
Why it matters, where things seem to be heading.
Without getting totally lost in the jargon, hopefully. Let's unpack the big ones.
Okay, sounds good. And it's been a really fascinating week. You can kind of see two big pushes happening.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, one is just raw capability, bigger, smarter models. But the other is broader access, making these tools more available.
Interesting tension. So let's start with that raw power then, OpenAI. They dropped the GPT-4.1 series on April 14th.
Right, that's the 4.1, the Mini, and the Nano.
And the big focus seems to be developers, coding specifically. They're talking up improvements on benchmarks like SWE bench.
Yeah, hitting around 55% on SWE bench, which is, a decent jump.
But maybe the headline grabber was the context window, up to 1 million tokens.
1 million tokens.
Yeah.
It's hard to even picture.
I know. For listeners, think of a token as roughly a word or part of a word. So 1 million tokens is, well, it's like feeding it an entire enormous novel.
Or a massive code base.
Exactly, or huge research papers. What does that actually unlock, though, practically speaking?
Well, it's less about just reading War and Peace and more about understanding complex connections over long stretches.
Right.
So for code, it might actually grasp the architecture of a large project, not just isolated snippets.
Oh, okay, so potentially much smarter coding assistants.
Yeah, and maybe, just maybe, it helps people who aren't expert coders build more complex things because the AI can hold the whole picture in its mind, so to speak.
Interesting. And OpenAI didn't stop there. Just 2 days later, April 16th, they integrated O3 and O4 Mini into ChatGPT.
Calling them their smartest models yet.
And this is where it gets kind of wild. They say these models can now agentically use and combine every tool within ChatGPT.
Agentically, that's the key word there.
What does that mean? Like web search, running code, looking at files, understanding images, even making images.
It means the AI isn't just waiting for your next instruction for every little thing. It can look at a complex goal you give it.
Okay.
Figure out the steps needed. Decide which tool is best for each step. Search the web here, run some Python there, analyze this file, and then just do it autonomously.
Wow. So it's planning and executing?
Exactly. Taking initiative. And the benchmarks they shared are pretty striking. Significant error reduction. And hitting new records on things like coding and math exams when they use these tools. Like O4 Mini getting 99.5% on the AIM math exam using Python.
99.5% on Amy. That's seriously impressive.
It hints at a future where you hand off a multi-step task to an AI assistant and it just handles it end to end. Could really change knowledge work.
Okay, but Google's not standing still either. They announced Gemini 2.5 Pro.
Right, this is still experimental, they say. A thinking model.
Thinking model.
Yeah.
What's the idea there?
They're trying to make it mimic human cognition more closely by pausing and thinking before it gives you an answer.
Pausing and thinking instead of just instantly generating.
Yeah, the idea is to improve logical reasoning, problem solving. Early results apparently show improvements there. And in coding, too.
Does it feel less reactive, maybe? More considered?
That seems to be the goal. And they're also playing the context window game, starting at 1 million tokens, planning for 2 million.
2 million. Okay. So this thinking combined with massive context, where could that lead?
You could imagine breakthroughs in fields needing complex reasoning, scientific research maybe, formulating hypotheses, designing experiments.
Or maybe even education, like more adaptive tutoring.
Potentially. If it could really think through a student's problem, it's an ambitious goal.
Definitely one to watch. Now, shifting gears a bit, let's talk open source. Alibaba introduced Qwen 2.
Yep, Qwen 2, an open source multimodal model.
Multimodal meaning it handles different types of data.
Exactly. Text, images, audio, video, it can process all of those.
And the focus here seems different. Cost-effective AI agents. Multilingual, low-resource environments.
That's the angle. They've released various sizes, from tiny 500 million parameter models up to 72 billion.
Wow, quite a range.
Yeah, and support for over 29 languages, real-time text, and speech output. The idea is to make building capable AI agents cheaper and easier.
So, democratizing AI agent development.
Pretty much. This could really fuel innovation from startups, individual developers, maybe in regions or languages that haven't seen as much AI development. It lowers the barrier significantly.
That brings us nicely to the whole open versus closed debate, which took an interesting turn.
You're talking about OpenAI's plan.
Yeah. The company most known recently for its closed model is planning to release its first open-weight model since, what, GPT-2?
Right, sometime early summer 2025.
Yeah.
They're calling it a reasoning model.
And crucially, publicly accessible weights and a highly permissive license. That's a big shift for them.
It really is. You have to think it's partly a response to the success and, frankly, the pressure from the open source community.
Like Meta's Llama models, DeepSeek.
Exactly. There's so much happening in open source. By releasing a powerful open-weight model themselves, OpenAI gets to tap into that collective brainpower.
Fosters collaboration, maybe speeds things up in ways they couldn't alone.
That seems like the calculation. It suggests the benefits of open innovation are becoming too big to ignore, even for the biggest players.
Okay, let's pivot from the purely digital to the physical. Robots running a half marathon.
Yeah, in Beijing, the first humanoid robot half marathon, April 19th.
21 bipedal robots. The winner, Tiangong Ultra, finished in 2 hours, 40 minutes.
Which is, considerably slower than humans.
Considerably, and they apparently needed some human help along the way.
Right, so it's not like they're beating Eliud Kipchoge anytime soon.
No kidding. But what's the takeaway here? Is it just a gimmick, or does it show something important?
I think it's more than a gimmick. It's a very visible demonstration of progress in embodied AI.
Embodied AI, meaning AI in a physical body.
Exactly. Things like bipedal walking, balance, endurance, navigating the real world. These are hard problems.
Yeah.
This race shows how far they've come, but also
how far they still have to go.
Precisely. It's a tangible peek into the future of physical AI agents, even if that future is still a ways off.
Right. Empowering all this AI, whether it's digital or physical, requires some serious hardware. Broadcom made an announcement.
They did, late April. New AI networking chips, CN3 and CN2M. The key here is power efficiency.
Because these AI data centers just consume enormous amounts of power, right?
Exactly. Training and running large models takes incredible amounts of data processing, which means high speeds and lots of energy. These chips are designed specifically for that AI workload.
So trying to make the AI boom more sustainable and scalable.
That's the idea. Better networking, less energy consumption per operation. It's the crucial kind of behind-the-scenes stuff that needs to keep pace with the models themselves.
The nuts and bolts. Makes sense. Then there's making AI easier for businesses to actually use. Databricks and Anthropic partnership.
Yeah, announced late April, too. They're integrating Anthropic's Claude models.
Including the latest Claude 3.7 Sonnet, which people seem pretty impressed with.
Right. Integrating those into the Databricks data intelligence platform.
The goal being simplifying AI agent development for enterprises.
Basically, yes. Making it easier for companies that already use Databricks for their data to build and deploy custom AI solutions using powerful models like Claude without needing a huge specialized AI team, maybe.
Lowering the barrier for businesses to adopt AI more deeply.
Exactly. Could speed up how AI gets used across different industries, from customer service bots to analyzing business data.
And AI is also becoming more of a tool for creators. Adobe and Samsung had news.
Yeah, Adobe launched Firefly Video in public beta.
Generating video from text prompts or images.
And they're really emphasizing commercial safety, trained on licensed content to avoid copyright headaches.
That's a big deal for professionals. And Samsung.
Samsung added an AI drawing assist tool in their One UI 7 beta. So AI helping you sketch or generate artwork right on your Galaxy device.
Interesting. So AI as a creative partner becoming more mainstream.
Absolutely. Putting these powerful generative tools directly into users' hands, whether they're video pros or just doodling on their phone.
Now, with all this power and proliferation, governments and regulators are obviously paying close attention. What's happening on that front?
Well, China's President Xi Jinping made some strong statements around April 26,
Oh, yeah.
emphasizing self-reliance and self-strengthening in AI, building an independent, controllable AI ecosystem. Basically doubling down on developing core AI tech domestically.
And also calling for faster regulations and safety laws?
Yes. It highlights that whole geopolitical dimension of AI. It's seen as strategically critical.
Meanwhile, in the EU, they seem to be slightly adjusting the AI Act.
Yeah, early April saw signals from the European Commission about possibly easing some compliance burdens, particularly for startups.
Trying to find that balance between fostering innovation and ensuring safety.
Seems like it. It suggests regulation isn't static. They're learning and adapting as the tech evolves, which is probably necessary.
And defense leaders are talking more about AI, too.
Definitely. Recent comments highlight the significant impact AI is expected to have on national security, on military strategy. It's becoming central to defense thinking.
Shifting to a very different but equally important area, health. There was news about AI and Alzheimer's.
Yeah, really interesting reports around April 25th to 27th. AI apparently identified a previously unknown cause of Alzheimer's disease.
Wow. Not just predicting or diagnosing, but finding a potential root cause.
That's what the reports suggest. It really showcases AI's potential for fundamental scientific discovery, particularly in complex areas like medicine.
Incredible if that holds up. And related to societal impact, Microsoft had a prediction about the future of work.
They did, predicting a significant shift towards AI management roles.
So not just using AI tools, but actually managing AI systems or teams of AI agents.
That seems to be the implication. Suggests a fundamental change in how humans and machines will collaborate in the workplace. We might become orchestrators of AI work.
Managing AIs. That's a whole new job category. Finally, there was some interesting research presented at ICLR, a brain-inspired AI approach.
Right, LP convolution. Presented around April 22nd. It's a new type of convolutional neural network architecture.
CNNs are common in computer vision, right? Image recognition.
Exactly. And this LP convolution tries to mimic how the brain's visual cortex works.
How so?
It dynamically reshapes its filters based on the input it's seeing. Makes it more flexible and efficient, apparently improving computer vision model performance.
So, drawing inspiration directly from biology to design better AI.
Precisely. It shows how understanding the brain, even partially, can still spark really innovative AI designs. It's a feedback loop between neuroscience and AI.
Okay, wow. That was a lot for 1 week. So, pulling it all together, what's the big picture?
I mean, it's just relentless advancement, isn't it? Huge leaps in model capabilities, like the massive context windows and the agentic behavior.
Yeah, the models are getting seriously powerful.
But also that push-pull between open and closed development.
Right.
OpenAI opening up a bit, Alibaba pushing powerful open models.
Right, making these tools more accessible.
And then seeing it bleed into the real world more and more. Humanoid robots running, specialized chips, business tools, creative aids.
Plus the constant background hum of government interest, ethical questions, and even potential scientific breakthroughs like the Alzheimer's discovery.
Exactly. The pace just doesn't seem to be slowing down at all.
Yeah.
If anything, it feels like it's accelerating across all these different fronts.
So for you listening, hopefully this deep dive gave you a solid handle on the key moves this week. Lots of aha moments, I hope.
Yeah, connecting the dots between these different developments.
We really aim to give you those valuable insights without you having to wade through everything yourself. Now you're hopefully prepped to explore the bits that really caught your interest.
Right.
And if you want to keep staying ahead of the curve on AI, definitely subscribe to Before AGI Weekly.
Good call.
And shameless plug, if you want hands-on tutorials, more technical dives, check out my YouTube channel. That's Ian Ochieng AI, spelled O-C-H-I-E-N-G.
Worth checking out.
Thanks so much for joining us on this deep dive. We'll catch you next week for another look at the fast-moving world of AI.